I think that a trailblazer is a woman that you have in your life who never gives up and just keeps trying on everything that she does.
Trailblazers, they give me hope, they give me inspiration, and they give me passion.
I want to be a trailblazer because I can help people. When I grow up, I'm going to be a trailblazer.
I'm going to be a trailblazer.
I'm going to be a trailblazer.
I am going to be a trailblazer.
Well, I'm the oldest of two. My parents divorced when I was 8. It was not a pleasant experience. Back in those days in the 70s, it was kind of unheard of for the father to get custody of the children. I will never forget the day that we were in court when she walked out of that courtroom in tears and said she lost. I'll never forget it. I didn't understand why I wasn't with my mom. I was very, very shy, and I think it probably had a lot to do with what was happening in my personal life at home.
I'll tell you a story that I always tell people when I talk about how I knew she was just different. In junior high, high school, she would always enter these contests, never tell me until she won. She just had an independence about her.
When I was living with my mom, I was in middle school. At some point, and I don't know when it was, I decided that I wanted to be something. I just know that there was this circle of teen pregnancy and drugs and what have you going on in my family that just kept going round and round and round, and I knew that I didn't want to be a part of it. My freshman year, I remember looking at the cheerleaders and thinking that that's what I wanted to do. And there were 6 spots, but 7 of us were trying out. And the way that they let you know that you made it was the current girls would go and kidnap you in the middle of the night, and you'd do a sleepover and you'd dress up and paint and all this stuff, and then you'd go to school the next day, and that's how everybody knew who made it. All of a sudden it got to be everybody got kidnapped but me. And I will never forget that feeling. It was devastating to be the only one. And then to have to go to school the next day where everybody knew you were the only one. That was a really big lesson to me, and I know it sounds trivial on the surface, but that was the aha moment that you didn't go out there and prove to anybody how badly you wanted this. You just said you wanted it. So it took me 2 years to get the courage to try out again. And when I went in there, I just nailed it. I was like this totally different person because the judges walked out and they said, "Are you the same person who was here 2 years ago?" I figured it out that you can't show any fear, and you just have to go out there and do what it takes.
I met Catherine back in the early 90s. I had just joined 12 News, and Catherine was the morning show anchor reporter. I would say that she is very direct, deliberate, and very passionate about what she does and is committed to, whether it be family, her job, or what she does out in the community.
So I interned and I graduated from college. So I knew, okay, I'm in the 2nd largest market in the country. I should take advantage of this. Just take a year and spend every moment that I wasn't working in that newsroom, following the reporters, following the anchors, seeing how they do everything from start to finish. And so what I would do is I would go out with the reporters to their stories, and I'd watch them do the interviews and how they collected their information. They'd go back to the station, I'd watch them put their pieces together, watch them being edited, they'd air, and I'd take the raw tape and write it my own way. And then I'd have them edit it together. I'd do a stand-up as if it was mine, have it critiqued, and once I had enough of those, I put it all together on a tape, and I just started sending it out to all the small markets across the country, figuring wherever it hits, I'm there.
She started sending out her tapes, and she said, "I got a job." And I said, "Where is it?" And she said, "In the southern part of Texas." And I remember that I went with her to hire a trucking company, and they had a map of the United States, and I said, "Where is it she's going to?" And they said, "Right here." And he pointed, and it was like the border with Mexico. And I said, "What?" And I was like instantly crying. I was like, "Taking my baby all the way over there? That's horrible." It was like I wanted to get on the phone and say, "No, she can't."
It's important for me to take this leadership role seriously, and I do. I went through HLI as soon as I got the job because I thought it was important for me to understand, okay, you're being put in a really high position, a very visible position. You have an opportunity to do some great things with it. Let's learn how to do that properly. I have a tremendous respect for all of the wonderful things that are happening in our community. I'm so blessed to be a part of it, and I just feel like, as I said before, when the job was offered to me, I thought God was saying, you have an opportunity to do really great things, so let's make it happen. I think it's important for kids to hear you can be a product of one thing, and it doesn't mean that you have to stay there. You can find your way out, and you don't have to forget where you came from. You can let it make you better. You can let it motivate you to do more, but it doesn't have to deter you from anything.
Her greatest accomplishment happens night after night when she's on the air delivering news to viewers. And I know that, having been in the television industry, that is not a position that people reach easily. And so it takes a different caliber of person to get to that level, and to have that ability to communicate in such a key and personal role that they're in somebody's living room night after night. That, I think, is a major accomplishment professionally, and personally, I think just her kids are major accomplishments.
Everything she's gotten, she's earned it. And so I, besides just being proud, it's recognizing that she's always done a great job.
So if I'm a trailblazer, it's just that I'm blazing the trail that's already been there, and I'm making sure that it continues for other people to follow. I was the first Hispanic anchor in South Bend, Indiana that they had ever had. That was huge for me, and that was one of the main reasons why I took that job. I remember my mom saying, "We're going where?" And I'd send her tapes, and I was out in the snow, and snow's like slapping my face in these live shots, and it's collecting on my eyebrows. And she said, I'd watch those tapes and I think, what has she done? Why is she there? I hope that within my community, and especially in my family, for my kids, that I'm blazing a trail of anything is possible if you believe in it, and if you set your mind to it, and if you work hard.